Hi, it's Siri Lamb for your tour of Google Classroom. Now that you've created your class, I'd like to show you a little bit around Google Classroom and talk a little bit while I'm doing that about some best practices that I use and that I suggest. So, when you come into your class, you're going to notice first on top that there are four um, options for tabs. There's the stream, classwork, people, and grades. What I actually recommend to teachers to do first is as soon as you've created your class, you come over here to the settings gear at the right side and you navigate down here to where it says classwork on the stream and you hide notifications. And that's because I like the stream to be a place where it's just conversation from the teacher to the students. And in some cases, the students can converse. Also, that's something that you can decide. But that classwork happens only in the classwork tab, and that the stream is this place where I go for short little notes and conversations, an announcement about something. And you can see that over here, I have an announcement on the stream. Right here up at the top, you have the header in the Google Classroom. Your class code is here with a really super easy way for you to display this code for your students to see. If you choose to customize your theme, you can do that from here as well. Now, if you'd like to post an announcement to your class in the stream, you click over here where it says share something with your class. You choose the classes that you want it to go to and or the specific students. You put the message over here. You can add any number of different kinds of links. And then you can choose to either post right now or to schedule it for a future time if that is something that you would like to do. As soon as it goes into the stream, it updates over here and students should get an email. They can respond over here in class comments to you, which is also really helpful. But now we're going to go over into the classwork tab, which is the real power workhorse of Google Classroom. And this is where you want to do the majority of your work. And the biggest reason for that is because you can have topics. So there are these big blue words that divide up the various kinds of things that you do with students. Now, you'll notice even before we create anything, I have over here things that I didn't put into a topic. No big deal. In Google Classroom, you can drag and drop your assignments into the places that you want. You'll notice that over here on the left side are all of your different topics. Clicking on any of them will filter you straight to that specific topic and all of the assignments that are related to that one. Now let's go through how to create some of the basic kind of posts that you can put on Google Classroom. That's this big create button over here. This is where you create everything from. The three really basic types that I like to use, I don't use quiz assignments so much. I usually create my quizzes outside in Google Forms and attach them in a regular assignment. But you have assignments. Assignments are things that students can submit material to. You have questions. They can answer a simple short answer or multiple choice question, and materials which have less interactivity. Students are not submitting anything in return. And reusing a post is a really great way. If in a previous year or in a previous class you've used something that you want to reuse, you can. Let's start with creating an assignment, which is really the basics. Every assignment needs a title. I highly recommend that you number your assignments. This is a tip I learned from Alice Keeler and has changed everything that I do. It's helpful for you as a teacher. It's super helpful for students because you have a place that you can direct students to, and you put your assignment. This is where you can put your instructions. You don't have to put instructions. But I always recommend as detailed instructions as you can put for students who are absent or if we find ourselves in a case of distance learning. You can add attachments from Google Drive as a link, as a file that's on your computer or a YouTube video here. If you needed to, you can actually create blank versions of a doc, a slide, a sheet, a drawing, or a form right here inside of Google Classroom, which will then take you out to the doc. My usual workflow is to first create the resources that I need and then come and attach them from Google Drive here in an assignment. I'm going to come back to these attachments in just a moment. I just want to take you over here to this right-hand panel. You can post to multiple classes at a time if you teach multiple classes, or you can also choose which students do you want to send this to. You can choose the number of points that your assignment is worth, or you can mark it as ungraded. You can put in a due date. Putting in a due date is super helpful because then it puts this assignment onto the student calendars, which then can be very helpful. And this is where you can either create a topic or use a topic that already exists in your list of topics. Rubrics is a discussion for another time. Back here to assignment attachments. When I attach something from Google Drive, I have a couple of different options of how that document can go out to students. So I start with attaching my document, and then I actually have three choices over here on the right. Choice number one is that students can view. It works like a PDF and they can only see. Choice number two is that students can edit. That means that everybody is editing the exact same document. This is in more rare occasions that you're giving students the option to do this. The one that most teachers like and find most helpful is make a copy for each student. Each student then gets their own copy of this document that then they can fill in or manipulate at will. When you're finished with your assignment, you can either assign right now or you can schedule or save as a draft. Scheduling allows you to choose a date and time when you want this assignment to post. Saving as a draft allows you to just save it as your draft. Something to keep in mind. If you're posting to multiple classes, you will not be able to schedule. You will instead have to do the assignments either one at a time or save as a draft and then go into each class and choose when you want it posted. I'm going to press assign so that you can see that as soon as I'm done, takes a couple of seconds. It's right here with a date and a time of when I posted it. Now, once I've done this, my students, by opening this, would be able to see instructions. You can see over here how many students have received the assignment. This is always the total number of students enrolled in your class versus how many students have turned this in. Once students have started turning in work, I will take you over here where, let's find I have here. A graded assignment. I can go over here and I can click on view assignment, and then I can actually see each of my students and the work that they've done, and I can grade their work from here. We have another whole set of videos on grading in Google Classroom that we will link to as well. I can put the scores in here out of the total number of points. This one specifically uses a rubric, but the point is, and then I have a record of my students. I can see by status who turned it in, who has it assigned but hasn't done anything. Turned it in means it hasn't been graded, and those that have been completely graded. And then I can just go back to my class when I'm done to continue moving on to something else. So that's the power of the Classwork tab. The other things that I will show you is you can have a question where this you have a choice between multiple choice and short answer. I will show you what that looks like over here. How are you today? If I view the question, I would be able to see all of my students' answers and be able to reply to them here as well. A multiple choice question is more like a poll than an actual full question itself. The last one is materials. When it comes to materials, students are just seeing it. They're not going ahead and submitting anything in return. There's no grading screen either. In the people tab, finally, if you have a co-teacher, you can add them from here. This is also a place that it's a great way to be able to email students. You can go here to email and you can open up an email to email all of your students and be in touch. These are the basics of a walkthrough of Google Classroom. There's so much more. I encourage you to keep exploring it. We'll hopefully continue doing some other videos on Google Classroom to reveal some of the other depths, but knowing this is enough to really be able to get you started. I hope that you found this helpful.